Hi everyone, welcome back to Safe Space. My name is Buse, and today I wanted to share with you guys a topic that I feel that is very necessary to talk about in every area of our lives, because it truly does impact every area of your life. But it's also key because it is like the catalyst to having a good relationship with yourself and a good relationship with other people. Now, without further ado, I'm being super formal, but let's do it. The main topic today would be why self-respect is key when you want respect from others. So let's just get right into it. With the topic of self-respect, obviously there are many factors as to why someone might not have enough self-respect, or why there might be lack of self-worth, lack of self-esteem, because I think self-respect comes along with a lot of having a good self-worth, self-esteem, and just loving yourself and loving your life and who you are as a person. So I would say, in terms of the lack of self-respect, obviously a lot of times it could be a projection of the trauma that we have from our families, from a specific relationship in our lives. It could simply be that you're more prone to, like, literally chemically, physically, not psychologically, physiologically, that you are more prone to experiencing lower levels of self-worth due to chemicals in your body. It could also cause many other illnesses, right? Like, obviously everybody has some type of health issue, and this could affect your mind and in other ways your self-worth, self-respect, whatever you'd want to call it. But I think, coming back to the main topic here, which is why you need self-respect in order to get respect from others, I think the key is that the main key point here would be that when you have self-respect, you also tend to recognize a lot of times the parts of you that are imperfect, the parts of you where you're lacking, and accepting those parts of you almost opens a door for you to be more compassionate with yourself, for you to be more aware of your blind spots. We're not always obviously aware of everything that we do, everything that we say, or how it could be perceived by others, and there's no way of 100% knowing how you're affecting other people a lot of times. But I think the point of looking at yourself and acknowledging all parts of you, even the parts of you that are not so great, the parts of you that have been hurt before, or the parts of you that hurt other people, and like the cliche saying of hurt people. I think it is true. Obviously, if someone else is causing you to not have the self-respect that you need for yourself, it is something that you need to consider and take into account, and obviously look at your life as a whole, but not limit yourself to how other people treat you, and then you also see yourself the same way. Don't ever let other people's treatment of you be how you treat yourself, or what determines your self-worth and the self-respect that you have. And the self-respect that we build is not something that is just like inherent. It's there all the time, and you can just pull it out whenever you want, use it as a tool and put it back. No, it's not something like that. I think it's a skill that you learn over time. It's a practice, like how you would practice in sports, or if you want to be really good at something. Obviously, let's say you play basketball and you want to be on the NBA, or in the NBA, and you want to be a professional athlete, or for any sport. It's not like just because you have the talent doesn't mean you don't have to practice and learn new skills and become better at what you're already good at. Sometimes some people are naturally good at these things. They're good at self-respect. They're good at sticking up for themselves, setting boundaries, and displaying confidence and assertiveness, obviously in healthy ways. But when you're not, it comes down to, learning the skill and practicing to become better at it. No one's just born with self-respect. I think it's something that we learn through our experiences and the relationship that we have with others, but it's also something that we have to acknowledge within ourselves first. I think, like I mentioned in one of my previous episodes, why self-awareness is the most important trait to facing challenging emotions or challenging times in your life, because a lot of times, we fall into a victim mentality, and I am 100% guilty of this too. I'm definitely not, going to sit here and say, like, I don't blame other people and I don't point fingers at other people. Even if someone is doing something to hurt your feelings, even if someone does say something to, even if it's intentionally do harm to you or others, I think a lot of times separating yourself from them is helpful. But also, like, knowing that you have the self-respect to remove yourself from a situation that's not helpful, or to take a break from that someone, or whatever the situation is. But, like, I guess the main important question, or like topic that we're talking about, is self-respect. So coming back to, like, the main self-respect topic here, if we let other people's treatment of us dictate how we see ourselves, we will always be at the mercy or at the hands of other people and how they treat us, because self-respect also takes into account how you view yourself, who you are as a person, where your boundaries are. So in a way, it's kind of like setting limits for people and for yourself, to say, this is a line that I will not cross. And it's the same thing, like, this is a line that I don't want others people crossing. And, it can go both ways, but it's something that is necessary, not just for yourself, but also for the relationships that you have with other people. It brings along with it a lot of confidence, and it brings along with it a lot of, like, I would say, the confidence to be assertive, and the love and the grace and the compassion, not just for yourself, but for other people. Obviously, it's called self-respect for a reason, because it happens within yourself first. If you don't respect yourself, if you don't respect your time, if you don't respect your money, if you don't respect your behavior, like your personality, who you are as a person, other people may not either. And it's just a lesson that I think a lot of people learn the hard way, and I am learning this currently still. But within the past year, I've learned so much about how, unless you respect yourself, other people will not respect you either. It is a true statement. It's not something that, if you just, like, let other people have everything and do everything they want and act however they want with you, then you lose yourself in that relationship, and you lose respect for yourself, and you a lot of times start to lose the respect that you have in the relationship and for the other person. And this goes for any relationship. It could be work, could be like partnership, it could be family, friends, whatever it is. But I think it is necessary, and it is a key point, or a key, like, catalyst to have like assertiveness and confidence and other things that people might be looking to have in their lives. But overall, I think self-respect is definitely needed in order to, take the steps that you need to take in life, and advocate for yourself and your feelings and your thoughts and what you believe in. And it all starts within. I think if I had to give, like, tips or any advice to anyone that's really struggling with respecting themselves, regardless of, let's say, other people, I think the main thing is, first, start by setting some boundaries with yourself. Start by respecting yourself. If you think you're on social media constantly every single day, like, which is something I was doing, set limits with yourself. Say, like, this day, for this hour of the day, I'm not going to go on my phone at all. and start small. Don't create goals for yourself where you're setting these crazy like goals, where like you're saying like within the same week I'm gonna do these 15 things to have self-respect for myself. I mean, that's great if that's how you want to start, but a lot of times I think we fall short in terms of how much we could actually take on. Sometimes the only thing that you can take on is like one thing that week. It could be like, for 15 minutes I'm not gonna go on my phone at all. And it's almost like your brain over time, when you do this consistently, even if it's once a week, but you do it consistently enough over like the next 4 weeks, over the next 6 weeks, 8 weeks, however long you want to like do it for or test yourself for, unless you start and with a small step, you're gonna fall short. Like, you're gonna probably end up giving up. It's kind of like similar to what happens with New Year resolutions. A lot of people will say, I'm gonna do these crazy things, not like crazy, but let's just say like, I'm gonna do these 15 things in the new year, and I'm gonna change who I am completely. I mean, that's great, but a lot of times it's not sustainable. And I see that in myself too. Sometimes if I'm trying to pursue a goal and I realize that I'm falling short, a lot of times to me that indicates that yes, it could be that I'm failing in following up with my own goals, but it could also be that it's an unrealistic goal in my life and where I am with my schedule, time, the other responsibilities and obligations that I have. So a lot of times you have to take into account and look at other things in your life. And obviously with the following up of your goals and with the consistency that you have, you almost like start to build trust in yourself. You start to build trust, and with trust, what comes along with it? Respect, right? So like, and it goes for like obviously relationship with other people, but I think for ourselves too, even though we like to think of ourselves as like this, like, you know, especially in the new age now where we like to think that like we're invincible and we can do all these things, but we have limits. Everybody has their limits. You know, for me, for example, let's just say like, I know I have to sleep a certain amount of hours every day in order to feel like I'm in a healthy mindset, or I'm in a good place where I'm not feeling groggy all day, I'm not feeling irritated by everything that's around me. I think there's a lot of factors that obviously like you have to follow for yourself, but also taking into account like what your limits are and knowing where your limits are, and then setting goals around the limits that you have so that consistently you can follow up each step of the way, you can follow through with your goal. But it needs to be something sustainable, something that is realistic as to compared to like the schedule and obligations and like responsibilities that you have in your life. Coming to the main point of having self-respect is key to having respect or seeing respect from others. It completely changes your mindset once you start to follow through with your own goals, your own like let's say benchmark or whatever goal that you set, like the next step for yourself, right? Other people start to see that confidence in you. Other people know that they can also trust you to set your limits with other people. And it is important, obviously, to gauge who you're going to interact with, when, how much, like all of these things, because without the limits and without the certain boundaries that you would normally have, it's almost like, not that people are taking advantage of you or like taking you for granted or whatever. Like I think in my last video I mentioned about that, right? But sometimes it also falls on you. Like if I was responsible for not setting a boundary, but then being upset with someone for not knowing my boundary, that's on me. That's my responsibility. And you have to take responsibility of your own actions. And if you're not setting your own limits, and if you're not setting your own boundaries with other people, then they're not going to know your limits. They're not going to know your boundaries. And they're not going to know when to respect you and when to follow through and whatever it is. So just, I guess, summarizing everything, knowing your limits, starting small and within yourself first, taking responsibility, and also taking action on, being accountable, but then taking action on the things that you want to set limits for within yourself first. And that will also naturally carry into your other relationships, because then you're not just blaming other people for the limits that they're not, the boundaries that they're not respecting, or it could simply be the reverse, that you're not really at a point where you have your boundaries up and where you are respecting your own self, where you're limiting your own time and doing the things that you actually want to do or have to do, and then, not blaming other people. So I think there's a lot to it, but I guess that summarizes it all. And I hope in some way, in shape or form, that you found this helpful, that maybe you found it relatable. And obviously, like as I always say, I would love to hear your thoughts and your feedback in the comment section, or you can even reach out to me directly through social media. And I hope you enjoyed this topic. So don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and then also follow me on Spotify. And I will see you guys next time. And until then, take care. Bye.